Okay, so I want to talk a bit more about Jax's whole like philosophy and just overall him and his personality and how he thinks in this episode because we actually learned a lot about him in episode 6 of the Amazing Digital Circus. As we see in this scene, he's talking to Pomni about how they're all just cartoon characters at this point and aren't really human anymore, which I agree with Pomni where that's bullshit. But the reason why he's doing this is because he probably had some sort of like issues or like whether it be himself with others in his actual human life. So now that he's in this he's in this cartoon rabbit body, he can be like Bugs Bunny. He can be a simple character archetype instead of being a fully fledged and fleshed out person. He is the one character that is unlike the rest of the cast when he fully goes on adventures that Kane brings up, and also is just about this archetype and maintaining this philosophy of just him being the funny one, even though he's really just an asshole. Because we see this with like Gangle and Zubul when they're having that chat. These two are different in this case, or in this case, they're being more like actual people. They're flipping between emotions. Gangle is much more happy in this instance, and Zubul's a little more sad, like Gangle usually is, at least in like Jax's point of view. Same thing here with Kinger and Bragatha. Kinger's, he's called the crazy one by Jax. He's giving sage and wise advice. And then while Bragatha is called the happy one by Jax, she's fucking breaking down. She's worried she's gonna lose a friend. She's worried she's alone. They are all humans, but Jax doesn't see it that way. Probably because he had a friend who thought similarly, like the frog person, and she abstracted. Which is probably why he acts like this now. He doesn't want to end up like her, like acting more human, and so he acts more like a cartoon character to hopefully try and avoid abstracting. Which is why in this scene, when he's probably reminded of his old, more chipper friend, that he pushes her away and becomes more of an asshole than he usually is. He doesn't want to get close to people because he's scared of losing a close friend again. And that's also a part of like his whole philosophy thing. Obviously, he's wrong. That's a way of him coping with the fact of him not being in the human form anymore, but also the fact that even though he looks like a cartoon character, he still wants to be human. Feels like, and he is human, but he doesn't want to act like that because he doesn't want to feel like a human, which, honestly, fair. It does suck at times. At this moment, he even breaks his own facade by saying, "God, you look stupid." Not in a funny way, but in a depressed, self-beating up way. I love the fact that she's still worried about Jax even though he was an asshole to him and pushed her away. Also seems that he's trying to act like a cartoon character to avoid abstracting, which is caused by human emotions, which is failing from the looks of it.